Damas y caballeros, welcome back to Freeform Radio on the Freeform Network. Remember to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Freeform Network. Visit us on YouTube, Freeform Network, and send in those questions to ffnquestions@gmail.com. But enough of the intro. Let's get right into the show. This is Freeform Radio. I am one of your hosts. My name is Daniel. My other two hosts today is Andy.
It's all good, Andy here, and excited to be back on, even though I was on last week's episode.
And Noel.
What's up, everybody? I'm hydrated, ready to go, ready to get into this episode today.
Nice, man. Is it just me? I get a glass of water, too, just in case my mouth gets parched, when I'm talking.
I'm drinking sparkling water.
Oh, shit, man.
So it's
fancy.
Carbonated, yeah.
Damn, nice.
I'm broke, man, so I just got tap water.
You got
I
a
can't
filter?
drink the tap water out here.
I did have a filter, but it was more of a pain in the ass, so I just said the hell with it. Let me get all the minerals that this world has to give me.
Who sells good water filters, Nanny? Alex Jones. Support the cause.
Right. But like we mentioned, Freeform Radio. Let's jump into Noel, man. I heard you're getting some cool little gadgets for your 4K TV. Why don't you tell us about it, man?
So the 4K TV I got last Black Friday, and most of the time I'd use my computer with my TV, so I wouldn't really need any external storage and stuff. I just play everything off of the PC. But for some reason, and I'm still working out the kinks, Windows has issues with running things at 120 hertz refresh rate, which is what a 4K TV does like naturally whenever you play something on there, as long as it's 4K quality and stuff like that. So I got an external, that way I could back up all these movies that I got, all this like the cartoons from the 80s and 90s, and the anime, the Japanese anime I watch, TV shows, etc. And
real quick, Noel, do you have a Crunchyroll account or the other anime streaming thing?
I tested it out at one point, like I want to say like 10 years ago, but I don't currently have any active subscriptions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I heard of Crunchyroll, and I know, I was interested because it is another streaming site. I think it was like one of the first ones, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's one of the greater sites if you get into Japanese anime, and I think they have usually the Japanese language with the subtitles, because you can get it like right when it's released in Japan, but then you can always get the dub once it releases and the dub later on. But yeah, anyway, so the external that I got it for all different kinds of stuff that I watch, and I've transferred a bunch of stuff from the computer to that, and I hook it up directly to the TV now because I don't need anything fancy, just pretty much plug and play. And the TV I had before really couldn't do this with an external. Yeah, I could do it with a PC, but that's, defeats the purpose. I mean, I just played on the PC. So with the external, it plays directly off the TV, up converts to 120 hertz, and the quality also up converts as well. It's at a 4K resolution. So the anime that I watch, for example, it plays so beautifully, so crisp. The refresh rate makes it go seamless. So whereas on the PC, the anime, the way it looks naturally at 24 frames per second might be a little jaggedy, or might be a little bit like you can notice some stuttering, because that's just the frame rate that it's at. There's no way around it. But when you up convert it to 120, it's 120 frames a second essentially, or 60, I believe, at minimum. And it just plays so smooth. Transitions look nice. Everything looks nice. Battle scenes especially, because that's when most of the action's at. And it does the same for movies, TV, anything I watch. And so it's been awesome. It's been fucking awesome watching everything on the 4K. It's like reliving it again. And I've actually just been watching this new show. Well, it's not really new, but it might be new to our listeners. I don't know if you guys and you guys as well. Get Shorty. Have you ever heard of the show?
Is that the John Travolta video?
So I think it was a movie initially, but this got made into a TV show.
Okay.
Now I've never seen the movie, but I think it's based off of that as well.
What network?
I think it's Epix.
Yes.
So there's
I hear about it, but I never got around to seeing it. But it's like an older one, I think, isn't it? Like 3-4 years.
Yeah, actually.
Right.
So it's the third season wrapped up. I want to say last year or Yeah, around last year. So it came out like around 2017, 2016, around there. It has a few actors you might know. Probably one of the most recognizable ones is Ray Romano from Everyone Loves Raymond.
Right.
Uh,
My wife loves that guy.
and I don't know if you guys remember the TV show Wings.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
sure
Hey, man.
Danny does. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Hell
god
So
awful show.
the younger brother, he plays a pretty main role in the season 2 and 3 of this show. I can't remember the actor's name right now, but anyway, just really quick to summarize what the show is about. It's about this guy who has a family that he wants to support. He works for the Mexican drug cartel, or I think it's Mexican. It's a Hispanic drug cartel, and they work out in Nevada. But he gets this idea to go to LA and expand the business, as well as get a way to clean the money, launder the money.
Right.
And the idea he has to launder the money is by making movies. So he goes to Hollywood to make a movie using the money from the drug cartel. And this is all, this is all backed up by them. It's not like he's doing it in secret. Like he's telling them about this, and they use him as the middleman between Hollywood and them. So he's an active producer, and he has fun with it, and he makes a lot of money, and he gets like a knack for it, and he wants to continue. But because there's so many different intricacies and complications in Hollywood, especially when making a movie, he has to find unconventional methods to solve these problems. And since he works for the drug cartel, he has a way with getting shit done. So it's a good show. It's got everything you want. It's got drama, comedy. It is a comedy, actually. So I want to make that clear. It's a comedy show with a drama like focus, I guess.
So is the Travolta character, if I remember right in the movies, his name was Chili, right? Is that the name of the lead actor or the loan shark or whatever he is? The guy I'm assuming is portraying the Travolta character.
Uh no, his name wouldn't be Chewy. Um actually,
Chili.
Chili. Sorry, no, it's not
That's
Chili.
what I remember from the movies. From the two movies, they made two movies, Get Shorty and the sequel. I forget the name. It was awful.
Yeah,
The
it
first
was,
one was
it was him and Pesci, or who was the second actor? It was
no, the wolf from Pulp Fiction.
Oh, right.
Hmm. Well, I don't know how closely it resembles the movie. I've actually never seen it, so I mean,
'Cause it's books, if I remember correct.
oh, it's books as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually looking it up right now. Yeah, Chili Palmer is what John
Yes.
Travolta played as, and then Harry Zim, Gene Hackman. Yeah, no, so
Yeah, and Lex Luthor was in it.
none of these names look familiar. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, none of the. I don't think it's based off of the exact movie. It's got a similar story, but it really can't have the same actors because Get Shorty the movie was more about mobsters, and this one's more
Yes.
about like a drug cartel.
They kind of maybe reboot or reimagined it for the show, make it a little bit more relevant or something.
It could be, because it does have more of I guess, a Hispanic influence. The main doña, or like the leader of the cartel, is a woman. She's Hispanic, and she speaks Spanish. You'll actually hear Spanish a fair amount in the show, but you also hear, obviously, the American actors. You got Ray Romano, you got Chris O'Dowd. He's an Irish actor. And it's pretty funny, dude. I think it's worth a watch. I'm finishing up the third season now. It's got an 8.2 on IMDb. And so after 3 seasons, there's about 27 episodes in. It's a pretty good story, man. It's hilarious, dude. There's some tear jerkers in terms of laughing so loud they just start tearing. And it's got sex scenes in there if that's your thing. So it's got a little bit of everything.
Thing.
There you go.
Well, it sounds like it sticks a little bit to the movies because it's a comedy, at least.
Oh yeah, no, it's hilarious, but it's hilarious in like a ridiculous way, like Curb Your Enthusiasm. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, just some ridiculous shit goes down, and you're like, "What the hell? Like, how can this be happening?" Or like Seinfeld, just situations that come up. You're like, "Wow, what are the timing? What are the odds of this happening?" But it's hilarious. It's a cool show. It's got some dramatic moments, some like oh shit moments. People get whacked, people get killed. It's not it's a mature show, let's just put it that way. It's not for kids, but it's a good show nonetheless. Get Shorty, I recommend it.
Hey, real quick about the TV. How's the media player as opposed to your computer media player? Do you find it comparable or any complaints about it?
Yeah, that actually is a good point. I was looking for a VLC app for this, and I couldn't find it. What it has built in is not bad, but I can't change like the subtitles. I can't change the audio track. Whereas on my computer, that's all customizable. I can choose whatever
Right.
audio track is on there, if it's director's cut, whatever, you know?
You need to get out one of those media box player things. I did look into one of those a while back, but if you have like one that's a lower RAM and all this, it plays like shit and it streams like shit, but it plays a lot of files. So maybe you should get to think about getting one of those Android boxes.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out. Like I said, I just want to make sure it has the refresh rate of 120.
Yeah.
Which is super high, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like I can't believe I haven't had this before. You know, it's where I want to be at this point.
Right. I have some converting software for converting movies that I download, and it has that option for 120, but I clicked it once, and the conversion was going to take like 8 hours for like a half-hour episode, and I'm like, nah, forget it. I don't want to see 120 that bad.
Yeah, converting is it's a mission, dude. That's kind of where I'm at too. Is I'm considering that, but I mean, we'll see. I'm still looking into all the options. For now, I'm just gonna put it up with what it has built in. But I mean, I do recommend it though. Eventually, if you get a chance to convert it or play it on 120, that's where you want to be. Because imagine if you played games at 24 frames. Just how
Right.
shitty would that be? Compared to 120.
Yeah, my TV has a USB jack for externals, but I've never tried it, so I don't even know how it would look or if it would upconvert or how the player is. So I got to give it a try for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But yeah, no, I mean that's where I'm at right now. So how about you though, man? What you've been playing some PlayStation recently? This wrapping up this last year?
Yeah. Actually, the wrap up thing, it's a funny thing that PlayStation sends every year, kind of telling you like a summary of your whole experience for the year. So what it does, it tells me how many games I played, how many hours, the most game that I played, and so on and so forth. So I think this is a pretty big number, especially for me. I don't think I play that many games, but it said in the year 2019 I played 56 different games on my PlayStation. And my top 3 games that I played was Red Dead Redemption 2 with 108 hours, Days Gone with 91 hours, and The Last of Us Remastered 41 hours. So those were my top 3 games that I played.
Let me, real quick, Dan, you see those numbers they send you this email or whatever, this wrap up? Is there a way you
Right.
can opt out of that, or do you actually want to see how much time commitments you made to these video games, or you rather not know?
No, I kind of like it, to be honest. I've been getting them for the last few years. I think 2016 or 2017 was the first year that they sent it. And every year I try to print them out so I can keep them and, kind of compare if my gaming, is going up or going down. And this year it did go up slightly from last year's. So it looks like it's about the normal trend as far as my gaming habits.
Do you show that to your wife?
I haven't showed it to her yet. I don't know if she would get proud of me and be like, "Oh, you're the man," or she'd
That's
be
what I'm
like,
saying, like,
"This is what you're spending all your time on."
yeah, man, she could be like, we could be doing other activities or going
Right,
here.
right,
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if I would want to see that, My
right.
opinion.
Just some other quick stats. The total gameplay hours that I played was 1,518 hours of gameplay overall.
Dude, think about it in work hours, 40 hours a week.
Right.
Doing the math.
That means about 2 hours a day, 2-3 hours a day then.
256 days I at least turned on the PlayStation to play something. So
damn.
it could have been videos as well, but 256 days, so just about almost the whole year.
Yeah,
26 hours in PlayStation VR, 2 hours online. So I'm not a big online gamer. And my longest gaming streak that I had was 9 hours in a row.
Fuck, dude, what were you playing?
I have no
9
idea.
hours?
That kind of seems a little bloated. I don't know if it was something where I had it on, I went to go eat dinner, left it on, instead of shutting it down kind of thing. But 9 hours seems a lot. That seems excessive. I don't remember.
Man. I think you've done that.
And it says the prime time that I usually play is Sunday mornings is usually the time I play.
You got to go to church every Sunday, man.
But here's the crowning achievement, man. My trophies. New trophies in the year of 2019, 348 trophies.
Man, but I think those are the standard ones, or the ones where you just turn it on and load a game like, bing. Where's the platinum ones?
Yeah, the most sometimes are the generic bronze ones. There are 226 bronze, 65 silvers, 53 gold, and 4 platinums.
Oh, shit. The platinums is where it's at. You must I know you've told me throughout, like, you're trying to go through some other games to get that platinum trophy.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's intense because it does take a lot of tedious work, to try to get this trophy that you got to kill 5 guys with 1 grenade kind of thing. And so you got to find the perfect scenario to try this achievement. So it does become challenging. I used to be a lot more disciplined about it. I used to get cheat guides and try to get these, lonely trophies that I didn't have just so I could get the platinum. But it got too much, man. It just got too much, and I was just like, I'm just gonna play it normal, and I'm gonna get what I get.
All our fans in podcast land, Danny was that guy that would buy the Brady strategy guide and put the poster up on his wall.
Damn right,
and put
man.
thumbtacks and all this shit.
That's because gamers play all night, Andy. Sleeping is for babies.
Well, obviously you have the stats to back that up, my friend, because that's I mean, I don't game as much. I barely turn on my PS4. I turn it on every once in a while. But if I was a gamer, I wouldn't want to get those type of stats because you start putting everything into perspective and you're just like, fuck. Like, I don't want to know. Like, right. I know I do it a lot, but fuck. I don't want to see numbers because it makes it more real.
I think so. I think at a certain point, it does make it like, damn, this is what I got to show for myself. Look at all this shit. It's kind of like people that buy a lot of crap. You don't want to see the overall inventory, but when you step back and you look at all the shit that you got, it's just like, holy shit, I spent a lot of money. Look at all this money that I invested on this.
Like, it's an accomplishment without a doubt. I mean, just on the trophies alone, that's a shitload of trophies in 1 year. I don't even think I got that many in my whole collection.
Yeah. This year was a good trophy year for me. I actually was able to accomplish a lot of them, and where, like I mentioned, years past, I kind of just take it easy. But yeah, looking forward to the new year, the new games. Right now, what the hell am I playing? Jedi Fallen Order. That's the one I'm playing right now. So,
which has gotten really great reviews, right?
Yeah, it's really a cool game. Kind of shitty in some aspects, but pretty good. But yeah, I have to give you guys a review when I finish that up.
What would you say is your favorite games of the 2019, like your top 5?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be those 3 that I mentioned as far as my playtime, just because I played the crap out of those things. Because I loved the Red Dead 2. The Days Gone, I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to like it. And then I had to play The Last of Us, the remastered, even though I had played it once before. Actually, it was
triple.
Actually, it's my 3rd time then, because I played it on PlayStation 3. I beat it there, and then I played it when they remastered it for PlayStation 4. And then since Last of Us 2 was supposed to be coming out February 21st, I played it again just so I could refresh myself with it and be ready to jump into the sequel. But that kind of jumps into the next thing I want to talk about is these delays that these games are receiving. Last of Us 2, they released hey, this is the date we're going to release the game. And then like 2 weeks later, they're like, oh shit, we messed up. We're delaying the game. It's not coming out until May now, until the end of May. So it kind of bummed me out. I'm just like, I had replayed the game with that intent, like, all right, it's going to come out in February. Let me play it towards the end of the year. That way it's fresh in my head when I jump into the new game. So it kind of sucks that plus a few other games that I was kind of looking forward to have gotten delayed. And I was just wondering, I know you guys say you're not really a big gamer, but is there anything that you guys have that you anticipate that when they change the date, you get kind of bummed out about it?
Oh yeah, man, all the time. I mean, for me, it mainly happens for like TV shows and movies, but for games too, it happens. But I try to look at it in a positive way. I try to say, all right, well, if they're delaying it, there has to be a reason, right? Not just to piss people off. So I imagine maybe they found a bug that's gonna fucking be game breaking. They're like, all right, let's fix this up. Give us a month to fix it. We'll release it in 2 months once we know it's all good.
It's been a while since I've been disappointed on the delays. I mean, like the last big delay in movies wise was that Sonic movie, and it was supposed to come out in the summer. Now I think it's gonna come out soon, like in the next month or two.
Right.
But I wasn't like in movies and in Hollywood. It's a little bit different. In games, I mean, I'm so used to them just delaying stuff or rushing stuff out. And even when they rush stuff out, there's still huge patches that you got to download, or the games are incomplete. I haven't really read that much about it lately. Games being incomplete. I know there's big patches. So the last big one I remember I think it was for PlayStation 3. One of the Spider-Man games actually released it, and they never really finished the fucking game, right?
Right.
You remember that game? That's like the last big one, but that was the last console. And I haven't heard anything since because they're constantly just upgrading the games or putting out patches. Like, I can't even keep up with it no more.
Right. They do release a lot of patches now. And that's another probably big talking conversation, just because games go gold, what they call gold, when they start printing the CDs. But then day one patches are becoming more and more popular. Even some as big as the game itself. So it's like a huge patch that totally reformats the whole game and makes it like different in
is there a specific
way.
Like
publisher that does that, or is it just
Bethesda?
like the big ones?
Yeah, Bethesda's huge, man. I think their first day one patch was bigger than the game title itself. And
Fallout
it was
76 did horrible.
Right. I mean, that one was notoriously bad. And it was even where if you play like they call it vanilla before the patch, if you play the vanilla copy, it's a totally different game from the patched version. And there's tons of games like that. I mean, No Man's Sky was another one where if you play the vanilla, without the day one patch because you turn off your network, it's a totally different game than after you download the patch. So yeah, shit like that happens. But like I said, man, I was looking forward to Last of Us 2. It's going to be like my first game of the year that I really get excited for. The other big one that I was waiting for was Cyberpunk 2077. That was scheduled for April, and they pushed that back to September. So those are going to be like the first 1-2 punches of the year for me. Last of Us in February and Cyberpunk in April. But now both got pushed back. Last of Us not too far into May, and Cyberpunk into September. So it looks like I'm going to have to find something else to keep me busy during the beginning of the year.
Hey, Danny, real quick, going back. So is there a particular publishers that are notorious for delays, or is it across the board just all of them?
I mean, like Noel said, Bethesda is really bad. They constantly are delaying and patching their games. Ubisoft just delayed a bunch of their games. Their Rainbow Siege game got delayed, got pushed back to 2021. And that was scheduled for like spring, summer of this year. The Watchdog Legions for Ubisoft, that got pushed back. That was scheduled for April. It got pushed back to March 2021. Doom Eternal was scheduled last year, November 2019, and that got pushed back to March 20 of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy VII was scheduled March 3rd of this year, and that got pushed back to April. Not too bad, just a month there. Marvel Avengers was one of the recent ones that just got delayed like a couple of weeks ago. It was scheduled for May, and that got pushed back to September. And then the other big one that just got delayed like a day ago or so was Dying Light 2. That was scheduled for spring 2020, and it got delayed indefinitely. And they said, look forward to news in the coming months. So I think it's just more part of course, something that, people are just going to have to get used to, especially with the new consoles coming around the corner. But I think that's enough for me, Andy. Let's jump over to you, man. You got this Hellier season 1 or 2. What? I've never even heard of that. What's that about?
Hellier, man. It's so you know me, I love my paranormal shows, and Hellier is the talk of the paranormal community. I don't know, have you guys heard anything? It's the only reason I heard about it, but it was a show that was like a web show on Week in Weird website. It's like they produced it. It's basically, let me read you the byline. A small crew of paranormal researchers find themselves in a dying cold town where the series of strange coincidence leads them to decades-old mystery with far-reaching implications.
Was this Silent Hill?
Nah, this is like so these guys.
What network is it on?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay.
But it started off as like a
sci-fi channel, and they canceled.
No, it was like a web show.
So,
like a YouTube thing, right?
Yeah, they uploaded it on YouTube. It did so great that it got on Amazon. It's made by this blog, Week in Weird, and dude, I gotta say, it got me good, man. I'm fucking hooked, and it's So
what's the premise? What is it?
So this guy he's married. He gets this weird email. He's like into the paranormal. He does horror cons. And he gets an email from this old like paranormal ghost hunting troupe he used to be a part of when he was like in his 20s. And he gets this weird email from this doctor in Kentucky.
Man, this so far sounds like the reboot Ghostbusters movie where the chick is doing conventions and then she gets an email from her old colleague.
Maybe that's where where they got it, because this has been out since last year. And it's made by Planet Weird. So he gets this email. He starts reading it about how this guy is saying that he needs his help. It's urgent. And he lives in this town in Hellier, Kentucky. He's a doctor. And that at night, he would hear footsteps around the house. And then his daughter started talking about how he sees other kids in her backyard playing. And they're like, but they're different looking. They're hairless. They got these big ears. And he says little by little, they started coming, attacking his house. And he started taking pictures of these footsteps and these pictures of them supposedly, but the pictures suck. Like always in this fucking conspiracy paranormal world, they got footsteps, but they never got great pictures. And he claims they took his dog, that his life's in danger. So the whole time this couple is like debating if they should go down there. And they get their buddies and they go to this town, which is fucking weird. It's like in Hellier, Kentucky, and the town is weird. Everybody's like weird. And this is supposedly a documentary. And they're trying to figure out to see if this is bullshit or not. They try to find the guy's name in the local town. They don't. In the meantime, they start getting more emails, and they just go on this journey to find these fucking goblins. And they go to this cave because supposedly these goblins come out of the caves, and they're trying to figure out if they're just trying to fucking find them and communicate with them. And like the meantime, there's 4 people, the couple that live in Ohio, and then these 2 guys, one who are filming it and documentarians. And it just takes a weird fucking turn. And they start doing like this talk with they call it like ESP fucking box and
Oh, the
EVP and all this
the
craziness.
spirit box, I think is weird.
They don't call it a spirit box, but it's something above it where they put noise canceling headphones on and they cover their eyes.
They put Apple AirPods on it.
No, there wasn't Apple AirPods. And they're in this cave and they're asking questions, and the person with the noise canceling ears can't hear them, and they can't see what they're doing because their eyes are covered, and they just start like repeating what the box is telling them, and they're having a conversation, whatever this being or ultra dimensional, like it's going all over the fucking place.
So is it like Ghost Adventures, that trio guys that would go and investigate?
Ghost Adventures is more fake. Like, I love Ghost Adventures, but it got to a point where, like, man, this shit's fake. And this show they're trying to solve this problem, but they can't. It leads them to, like, it starts leading them to Mothman prophecies. The Mothman character, and like in another location. And I'm like halfway. I finished season 1. I was fucking hooked, because each episode, it's like all these fucking shows. That's why I fucking love and hate them. They keep you intrigued. They drop this like evidence on you in the end, just to watch the next episode. They don't solve that, or that evidence leads nowhere. But then you have more information about something else. And then you're going on this other adventure or trying to figure out something. And it's just like, it's never ending. And they keep talking about, they use these words, synchronicities. Like, this just didn't happen. This is because we're being led to this. And like, and then, it's all this supernatural stuff. The lady is like, the guy's wife is some proclaimed, not doing her justice, some like type of piece, like a witch or something, and the guys, like, they have like this occult memorabilia where they got mirrors and all this goofy shit, and some of it's like, to me it's like, man, are these people like devil worshippers or what? But they're not. They seem like good people, so I don't know. But the second season even got better because they start actually looking for people. They get replies to some of the emails. They start getting new emails where now the government's involved, and there's a occultist and CIA, and they're trying to figure out these people. Now they're saying that they have aliens living here, and they got this address, and I'm just like, where the fuck is this show going? But I can't stop watching it.
So you said it started in YouTube. Is that the feeling of the episodes? It's got like a budget look and feel, or
it's professional, dude. It's high quality production. They talk about how they're part of, they have a Facebook community. They stream stuff. I mean, the documentary show, it's filmed. It looks great. It's well edited. It's well produced. They have interviews. I mean, it's well produced. It looks great, and it's edited well. I mean, it doesn't look low budget or anything like that. It's well produced.
Are there any characters that we would be familiar with, or actors?
No, it's just people like me and you. Like, we do a podcast. They have a community. They travel like the horror convention scene. They have supposedly haunted artifacts. And just people emailing you like weird shit. Like, we get emails like, hey, man, what the fuck? Or call us. We'll make some money.
Oh, so these are just real people, like Pawn Stars?
Real people.
Just real people. Oh, yeah. Okay.
And it's not like a TV show. I mean, it's a TV show, but these are real people. It's not like me and you. They have a Patreon, and, and they take time. They work, and so they go on weekends to these places, and it starts getting a little weird. and like I said, the second season, that's, to me, it's like you're almost at the edge of, you're jumping the shark here. Like, okay, some of this shit's got to be bullshit. They start talking about balloons, and they talk to supposedly this inside guy who says that, they gave you balloons, birthday balloons. Oh man, that's a sign. and they found 3 birthday balloons throughout the country. One in California, one in Kentucky, and one in fucking Pennsylvania, one of the Carolinas. And like I said, I'm jumping all over the place, but it is, to me, this is too much. Like, not too much, but it's just like, it's starting to border on me where this is too good to be true. Like, I want to believe, but I'm not fully 100% there, because this is just no way this is all real life. It's too good to be real life.
Do they talk about flat Earth at any point?
Nah, they talk about like Bigfoot and aliens, but they're not flat earthers.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good then, at least.
You're like, if they're flat earthers, fuck them.
Yeah,
like,
so
Bigfoot and flat earthers, man. I'm sorry to cut you off, Daniel. It's just, I've always had an issue with that. Bigfoot and flat earthers. Like, I don't get
you don't
the
think
obsession.
you don't think Bigfoot exists?
Not really, man. And if he did, it's like, why can't you see him? Like,
yeah, well, they talk about they
you can find America's Most Wanted, you can't find Bigfoot, and you're like,
they have a theory on Bigfoot. They think he is
interdimensional, Andy.
Interdimensional.
Oh man, come on, get out of here.
And they always talk about, like, when Bigfoot appears, how there's bright lights or you can't see him, footsteps stop. That's because he opened another parallel universe and he's stepping in and out. And second season, this is where this is kind of going, like this ultra dimensional shit, you know?
And you're still waiting for them to jump the shark? I think they did it already, man.
Nah,
Bigfoot interdimensional shit.
No, that's just like a brief byline. They talk about Bigfoot, but the show doesn't revolve with that. And then he goes, they asked us what we thought of Bigfoot, and we gave our thoughts, and people look at us like we're fucking nuts, but because there's people who are like, oh, it's fucking... He's an animal, and there's people like Noel says, like, why can't we fucking find them? He's a fucking animal just walking around, some prehistoric animal. And there's people like, you know, Native Americans, and like, oh no, man, he's like spiritual. He comes in and out of these realms, or he's transporting somewhere else, like all this hippie shit.
Let's say hypothetically, let's say that was true, and I don't believe it is. But let's say that it's interdimensional. Why are you wasting your time showing up in the middle of the wilderness to just do what? Fucking walk around and have somebody with
with a
1980 camera take a picture of you that's all pixelated and shit? Like, that's the biggest issue right there, is that the pictures that exist, they're horrible. You can't find a good camera to save your life out there.
There's a documentary, Noel, I'm going to shoot it to you. I'll text it to you or something, where this guy has some of the best footage of like fucking Bigfoot, and it's all in Canada. And supposedly this guy got murdered. He released this documentary, and then like 2 months later, he fucking dies.
What?
But if you look at it, Noel, it does not look like some guy in a fucking gorilla suit. Like, it looks like a fucking animal that's walking around in the forest. I forgot the name of it. I saw it because then when shit's too good to be true, like, this has to be fake because this shit looks real as fuck. And when people start bashing shit like this, you're like, well, either it's real because they want to discredit him, or it's super fake. You know, they never said it was fake. They just started discrediting the guy.
Well, I don't want to sound like a contrarian or like I'm contradicting myself here, but with the technology we have nowadays, it's super easy to just make some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, if I wanted to make a scary movie or a horror movie, and I show Bigfoot, obviously he's gonna look fucking badass and look real. And then if I present just a clip of it without any context, you'll be like, damn, it's Bigfoot, you know? Because it's just well done.
Look, but it takes time and it takes money. Look at the movie that Danny watched a couple weeks ago, The Irishman. One of the knocks on it was how they de-aged De Niro, and it looked fake as fuck. And that's like a production company, right? Everybody was knocking like, oh, they make De Niro look younger, but he looks like shit compared to Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy, where they had the Douglas Kurt Russell fucking. I'm like, god damn, man, that looks just like him.
Right.
But that's like a fucking $300, $400 million movie. Like, and that's older than the fucking Irishman. And like, the effects are, it takes time and money.
Right.
I mean, yes, it can be done, but I think people in generally are gonna see like, okay, this looks like shit. Like when Rogue One, Star Wars, you look at Princess Leia and the other guy, like, man, that looks fucking CGI straight up, man. And these people are dead. Like this looks fake.
Well, let me be devil's advocate then. Let's say what you're saying is true, which I believe. Yeah, I mean, the more money, the better the budget and all that, the better it's gonna look. But let's also consider time and how much you're actually gonna do. Is there like 2 hours worth of footage from this guy of a Bigfoot?
Yeah,
or
it's
is
a
there?
fucking documentary. It's all
He's recording
together.
Bigfoot for 2 hours.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Well, it's multiple Bigfoots. It's not just one.
But like each one of these is probably just what, like a 5 second clip, right?
No, it's like
10
minutes
seconds.
and shit. That's what I said. I'll shoot it over. You give us your thoughts, and we can talk about it. It's some down the road. But yes, that's why I said to me, it looks real as fuck. It passed. I had a hard time passing the bullshit meter because, like you said, this shit's too real. This is too good to be true. That was my knock. And me and the skeptical fuck that I am, I'm like, this is too good to be true. Has to be some bullshit. And nobody ever came out and said like, this is all fucking fake. They just started discrediting the guy. That's what they started to do. So nobody was bashing the footage. They were just saying, this guy's an asshole. He fucking touched my dick one time or something.
Are you talking about the Hellier or the Bigfoot thing?
The Bigfoot one. Hellier,
okay.
That hasn't happened yet. So that I highly recommend. That's why I haven't pushed the Bigfoot. I highly recommend Hellier. You look at it. It's on Amazon Prime. I don't know if you have it, Danny. Because
I mean, it can't be better than Ghost Adventures, man.
Now, Ghost Adventures, it was cool, and then it got fucking fake as fuck. But
even with his what's that brand shirt that he loves wearing?
I don't tap out or some shit.
I forgot the name of it, but it was real famous with cool people that wanted to look super cool. They would wear these dumb Tommy shirts. I forgot what they even called them.
Ed Hardy?
Ed Hardy shirts. Yeah, Ed Hardy shirts.
Oh. That being said, guys, is this lively discussion. You guys let us know what you think, if it's bullshit or not. I'll give Noel his info on this documentary, and we'll hear his thoughts on interdimensional or Bigfoot. Just he comes from another dimension to take a shit. But let us know, guys, what you think. I highly recommend Hellier. Check it out. Let us know what you guys think. If it's bullshit or if you jumped the shark at ffnquestions@gmail.com. But going with that, we're going to go into our article of the week. So one of my passions in life, I know passions is a overthrown word here. I hate it personally, is collecting. And the article we have is from this guy in Australia who collects VHS tapes, but he has a specific collection that he looks for is wrestling. And to me, he goes in debt in this, why he collects them. He talks about his earliest memories are of the kids area where he would find the likes of Transformers, He-Man, Defenders of the Earth, Voltron, great 80s and 90s show. When he discovered wrestling videos, he said he referred the video store clerks as crack dealers because in Australia they have different TV rights, and when you're a collector of anything, I collect movies. I want every fucking thing, even though if the movie sucked. Like if they're made 10 American Pie movies, I want all fucking 10, even though maybe like 6 through 9 are garbage. But one of the reasons I collected a shitload of wrestling DVDs is because you don't know if this stuff's ever going to get released. It may get out of print. Yes, we have streaming services now. Eventually, all you're going to have is your library. And I applaud people who still collect physical media, even though my wife hates when I buy a fucking DVD or a Blu-ray. I haven't bought a VHS tape in a long time, but I do still have some fucking tapes.
Now, Andy, you made mention that this guy collects just wrestling or VHS tapes, but the other thing that I thought was kind of weird was it has to be a certain version. It can't be PALs. It needs to be this New Zealand version of VHS.
Sorry, yes, New Zealand, yes. He's looking for specific tapes of a New Zealand wrestling, which are only available over there. And, you know, again, it's every collector's different. I mean, I know even if you collect the comics, there's a specific series that you want, or I only want this author. To me, that's why I love this. It's a blog post. I mean, because I resonate with this guy. I fucking love. For a while, I was collecting a bunch of shit, and like you look at it now, you're like, I don't know why the fuck I collected it, but you fall into this trap. Not a trap, but this like love affair, I call it, of like I gotta get this, I gotta get this, and I gotta get this. Like, and this guy has like his shelves are just stocked with your standard WWF. He talks about WCW, ECW, and NWA, and you know he's obsessed with about it. And to me, I find that it's very endearing to me because that's something to this day I still fight when I'm out thrifting. I always go to the book section. I always go to the CD section. I always go to the DVD, VHS movie area because I want to see some shit like, oh, this is interesting. I don't know what the fuck this is. Or, oh, yeah, I remember this. I don't have it. I'm going to fucking get it because I don't know when I'm going to run into it ever again. Like, in the previous episodes, I talked about my love affair with like trash TV, with the Too Hot for TV stuff, with the Springer, the Cops, banned from television. Like, I grew up in that era. I loved all that shit. If I see a DVD or bootleg DVD or a VHS tape of that, I'm going to have to really fight myself from not buying that because it immediately takes me back to a time when I would just look forward to buying this shit. On TV with the fucking 30-second commercial, infomercials, all that shit. And like to me, I have to get it, and that's why this blog, and we've discussed about physical media, how in the world we live in, the streaming world, you have the illusion of this option that you can see all this shit, but it's very controlled. It's fucking edited to a point too, and the big companies own this, and they could edit whatever you want. When you have a VHS tape or original media, you buy it at that time. They might change it down the road, but at that moment, you bought it before, this PC culture war. You still have that version of it.
Right. Now, Andy, do you have an idea of how many tapes and DVDs that you have?
Oh, man, I got thousands of DVDs and Blu-rays.
Holy
thousands.
Shit.
And I got like maybe 3 binders full of like bootleg DVDs. I got a hard drive, like a 2 terabyte hard drive just filled with videos that I downloaded from torrenting, like where I scoured the torrent world for those 90 trash TV, Too Hot, cheaters, blind dates, like all that shit. I fucking love all that trash TV.
Now of all this stuff that you have, how often do you go back and view or consume some of this media that you collected?
I do it once in a while. I mean, I'm not gonna, like right now, the weather, we're expecting a snowstorm this weekend. And what happens? The internet don't go out, or the internet goes out or something. I mean, I can just pop in whatever I want and watch it. And I'm not saying I'm like fucking every day pulling something out of my library, but it's the feeling that I have it, I control it, and I can watch it whenever I want.
Right.
I can get behind like what you're doing with all that media and stuff, and control, like collecting all of it. My biggest issue with big collections is for like film and stuff, because I'm a big film guy just like you are. Like, I have a massive collection myself, but I try to keep it all digital. So physical yet digital. So I applaud you on the external, because that's a right approach to it. With thousands and thousands of DVDs, it's like, where do you put that all, man?
Right.
And I mean, bins.
And I mean, right now you don't have this stuff cataloged. And I mean, like earlier to what I was discussing as far as the amount of hours that I gameplayed, and Sony was keeping track of it. And when you see it in print, it looks astronomical, 1,500 hours. But if you were to catalog all your movies, would it also give you a similar number where you would be like, holy shit, this is a problem. I should be doing other things with my time.
Nah, man, that's like I said, that's one of my quirks, and my wife gives me the same fucking spiel, and I'm just like, look, I'm gonna fucking buy them if I want them, because I don't know when the fuck I'm gonna run into it in the wild, or otherwise, if I do find it, it's gonna be on like an auction site or like a Facebook Marketplace or an OfferUp, and because you don't know when you're gonna run into this shit. Like in the blog, he talks about two tapes: Stevie Richards' Best of World Wrestling Volume 1 and Volume 2. He talks about these two tapes have evaded me since the beginning of my collecting days, and given my obsession with all things New Zealand wrestling, they are the most important on my want list. I've had all other Steve Richards titles, the ones that I know for sure exist, and had dubbed copies of the missing ones, but I need the originals and more time. And the more time that went on, the more likely it was I would never find them. So I have like bootleg DVDs and shit like that because I couldn't find the originals or they're out of print. Like dude, I resonate. Like I feel this motherfucker just in that right there, because there's some stuff that is so rare you're never gonna run into it, and when you see it, there's this big debate internally, like, should I fucking flop the money to get this because I don't know when the fuck I'm gonna see it.
I guess at that point, it's a matter of personal, like, choice, like personal preference. Like the saying goes, one man's junk is another man's treasure. So I mean, you see those rare things and you're just like, I need to have it because I don't know if I'll ever find it again, and like it means something to you. So you keep it and you store it. It's not like devaluing. Whereas there's other collectors that they look at it like, how can I sell this again? Like, for example, my cousin, he used to be a collector for games, and all these video games he had like all the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, GameCube, etc. And then he collected this all. And he's just like, man, I'm not even gonna be able to play all this. There's like a freaking massive library, and so he just sold it all. That's what he ended up doing.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, when you get in that collector mindset, your whole goal is to complete whatever the fuck you're looking for. Like the NES stuff, I know it's a big deal to complete that set, and I've seen YouTube people talk about it. And there's some games that are like super fucking rare, like this Flintstones game and the Bonk guy or something, and they're like worth thousands of dollars. Like if you see that for like $100 or $300 to complete your set, I mean, that's something like you gotta fucking get to complete whatever you're working on to complete.
I remember when DVDs first were released, I was sort of in that mindset, and my collection probably got as big as maybe 100 DVDs at one time, and it became a storage issue where I had racks of these DVDs that were taking up space, and yeah, I would watch some of these movies occasionally, but I wasn't watching them frequent enough where I'm like, this is warranting the space that it's consuming in my room. So I think after I moved out of my parents' house, it became a thing where I'm not buying DVDs and Blu-rays anymore. Everything that I'm going to get is going to be in a digital format, something that I could store on a hard drive, and it's the size of a book, and I can have, hundreds of movies in there.
Thousands now with the hard drives being like 5 terabytes.
Right, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, Andy. I mean, we were collectors before with even comic books and baseball cards before that. So it's always been something that even as a young age, it was with us. The only thing that kind of makes me think that this guy's a little loony is that he makes a comment about, sure, we had, because he's complaining about how they took wrestling off of TV, and he says, sure, we had superstars of wrestling on TV, but that was just full of job matches, and nobody really cares about that. I disagree, man. I really cared about those. I used to love superstars.
Well, exactly. And like, I mean, the network, WWE Network's like recently uploading them onto their website, but they changed music. They changed, they added sound effects because of licensing stuff. Like, you're never going to see the original broadcast unless someone dubbed it when the fucking show originally aired. That's my big contention. And like I love wrestling, and for a while I was dubbing everything in the 90s. Like I would dub the old Saturday night's main events. I would record them, and like again, it's something that you either gonna do it love or you're not. And it's in the original broadcast to this day. I mean, you're not gonna find it on the network because it's. I call it like it's edited down because they have to pay rights or they take away space or like time issues that they have within on the network. Like in WrestleMania 3, the original VHS tape, it has an added match that who was it? It's Butch Reed versus somebody else. It's a black wrestler. On the subsequent releases of the DVD, they took that match out. Nobody really knows why. They're saying it's a time constraint issue on the DVD. And they haven't even, and the DVDs, people were posting this crazy. I haven't even watched WrestleMania 3 on the network, so I don't even know if it's on there or not. But I remember watching it when I would rent the tapes from the Action Video, seeing that match on there. But when the DVDs got released, they removed it. Like, why that match? You know, I guess nobody's going to remember Butch Reed. Let's just fucking get rid of him.
Right. I know that does happen. I mean, you got the Star Wars movies that get edited and they change the scene and Han Solo shoots first and blah, blah, blah. So I get what you're saying. You know, hard copies, you got a copy that can't be disputed by anybody.
It's like Mandela effect, man. Or he's like, did I make this shit up or something else happened, you know?
Nah, I get where you're coming from, man. Everybody has their own unique like desires and stuff like that, and everybody collects different things. So I mean, you know, props to you for your collection. That's a pretty massive collection, 1,000 DVDs.
Dude, I got some stuff that I have tapes that are buried, and it's just like old rare stuff that I recorded off of TV that I haven't seen since.
Oh, I'm right there with you.
On my hard drive, I've got for a while. It's just like you go in these moments. Like I was obsessed with movies that were colorized, so I scoured all the torrent sites that I would go to, just looking for colorized movies, and I got like obsessed with it for like a summer. So I had like Red River, Casablanca. The Longest Day, like all these colorized movies, these like gems of a movie. Life. It's a Wonderful Life, and they recolored that movie twice.
Yeah.
And the new one, you can't 4K. Even tell. Yeah, you can't even fucking tell that shit was colorized because it looks like it was shot in color. That's how good of a job with computers. But I was obsessed with that, and I would just scour, and then I would try to find the tapes, and I couldn't find any. Or if I did find them, they were like a shitload of money. That's how rare they were. And like I always tell people like I have a colorized version of Casablanca, and I'm just like people are like, what? Like who would do that? Like Ted Turner did it, and I got it, and it looks like shit, but I have it on my hard drive. And to me, that's like that movie is, you know, that and Citizen Kane are considered like one of the greatest movies in American cinema, along with Red River. And all those movies, Citizen Kane hasn't been colorized, but he's colorized Casablanca and Red River.
I don't think I've seen those.
Yeah, I think it's debatable if it's really good.
You're stuck, Danny, in your weird ways. But
it's about nothing, right? Like Casablanca is.
It's about love in World War II, and it's just about love. I mean, it's a love story. That's all it is. And the guy does something right for a woman that he loved that he's not gonna have. So I highly recommend it. It is a good movie.
Yeah, I gotta one day just sit down and watch Citizen Kane. I know I shit on it with you, Andy, but I gotta sit down and watch it one day just so I could, you know, really judge it for real.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're never gonna see that release because it's owned by this conglomerate now. You know, Time Warner. People at the time were bitching about it. They're never gonna re-release it. I mean, they're never ever gonna re-release it. They don't even want to talk about it. And that's the thing. So if you owned it when it came out, I mean, you got something rare, like Song of the South. I mean, it's never been released in the U.S. I've had bootleg copies and bootleg DVDs that I've downloaded, and I've seen it. I'm not too many people. People always to this day, when are you going to release Song of the South? Disney, and they're like, never. We're never going to release it again.
Yeah, and what I recommend though is try to convert all that digitally if you could, just so you conserve some space and maybe even like get the quality to improve. Put in some encoders or something. Try to improve the quality if you can.
One more thing. The collector of video sums it up in The Simpsons. The comic book guy, he gets arrested because he has so many bootleg videos of like VHS tapes that he bought at conventions, and the cops, I forgot how the cops ended up into his basement, but he was watching like this secret like nuclear government video. He was just down there watching it, and the cops somehow fall into the basement, and there's just a wall of VHS tapes. And I'm like, damn, man, even comic book guys into fucking getting bootleg tapes that are hard to find. And like that explains every convention that you go to, like these Spider-Man shit from the 70s and so forth. So that's another episode you should watch on Disney Plus, because even they have all the Simpsons episodes on there. They don't have the one with Michael Jackson. So
you know what you need to get? Those rare SVHS or whatever it was, the ones that were like
HD on tape. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a rarity, dude. I seen people on YouTube post about it. So it's like I said, it's something like rare, like media that didn't work. I'm shocked when I see it when I go thrifting, and I'm like, is this worth anything? And like, nah, not really. Like, but that I seen those super VHS DVD HD movies. I seen like 2 of them in the wild ever.
Hey, Andy, have you tried emailing this guy? Because at the very end, he put something like, if you come across Hulk Hogan, the Real American box tape, International Wrestling, email him. Or if you just want to chat about wrestling videos, let me know.
Yeah, he writes, don't bother me with that NTSC rubbish. If you come across either of these or just want to chat. He's talking about, well, that's what we are in the United States, NTSC. And I guess the rest of the world, or Europe, is PAL. So that's what he's looking for. I got that on tape, the Real American. And I think they uploaded it into the WWE Network.
So email them and see so you can compare collections, Andy.
I don't know. I don't want to one-up them and shit because mine's not nicely stored, visible like this guy has it. That's why I'm jealous about. I wish I could have a fucking wall just with DVDs. But I think everybody, when I would invite Danny or somebody in the house, just start shitting on me.
Right, because
feel weird.
Right, because it ain't really shit.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, this is it, man. This ain't shit.
Right.
It's nice though to have at least something on display. I think when I get my own like little space to like call my entertainment section, I guess I want to do something for like horror. Maybe have like a poster of like Friday the 13th and a bunch of like horror movies on physical media like Blu-ray. But most of the time, dude, I keep it digital. That's what I recommend for the listeners.
Do you buy books, or is that digital too? Do you download books?
It's funny you actually mentioned that because I just got an Amazon Fire for Black Friday, and so I've actually bought some books on there, and it gives you an option for one for free to get you like introduced to it, right. And I thought it was pretty cool. I was actually reading really quickly, and I was like, wow, I'm getting through this book a lot faster than if I was reading like page by page, and I don't know why that is. I find like if I read a PDF on a computer, I can read it 10 times faster than if you give me a manual in my hand.
I've never had that experience. I bought a tablet from Danny, that Nexus one, Danny, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking download all these books, and I downloaded like 5 books, and like the first book, my eyes were fucking killing me. I tried lowering the brightness, and no matter what I did, it never beat a book. And I know tablets have come a long way. I got an iPad. I tried it again, and I can't do it. I need paper, man. It hurts my eyes too much.
Oh, damn. That's a shame.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, everybody, I guess, has a different experience, but that's been mine. My goal is like every one of my New Year's resolutions, I guess you could say, is like every night before bed to try to read a little bit, on the tablet on the Fire, and then it also gets. I have like a blue screen blocker, so maybe that's one thing to look into, Andy. If it's too bright, the Fire, it's only $100, I think.
Yeah.
It has a blue screen blocker, so it comes out to like more of an orange tinge. And
Yeah, I don't know if you remember the last episode we talked about New Year's resolutions, and I told Danny one of my New Year's resolution is to read a book, finish one book a month, and Danny scolded me for trying to be smart. He's like, "You fucking nerd, read a book." I'm just like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm gonna be fucking."
Well, I mean, you got to try to read if you can. That's what I recommend at least. I don't know. Daniel has his own strategy on life, but to each their own. Anyway, guys, that wraps things up for today. Thanks so much for joining us on another episode of Freeform Radio on the Freeform Network. If you're not already, you should follow us on Facebook at Freeform Network, also on Twitter at FFR Podcast. And if you have any questions, suggestions on how to improve our show, anything you think we're missing or we should change up, you can always send those emails and drop them off at ffnquestions@gmail.com. From Freeform Radio, I'm Noel, and we have Daniel.
Yeah, I only collect Betamaxes.
Another failed media.
You're right about that, but hey, it had its day in the sun. And our resident collector, Andy.
DVD and Blu-ray till I die, Andy.
Well, we wish you a great night and a beautiful tomorrow. Take care, everybody.
That was cool, Dad.